My name is Minx Boren. We are in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Now, I was in New York. I grew up, my parents were in the restaurant business, did a lot of cooking, learned a lot of stuff, went through school, graduate school, wound up learning how to teach really healthy cooking, got very involved in that, taught for Natural Gourmet, helped write that cookbook. Then, moved to Florida about 30-something years ago and wound up, I had belonged to a women's group in New York, and I absolutely wanted to do something with women. So first person I meet, because there are no accidents, is the woman who was the founder of Executive Women of the Palm Beaches. She and I became fast friends and then we became business partners. We did all kinds of programs for women. And then after that, when she was no longer really able to do that, someone said to me, what you're doing is called coaching, and you might as well become a coach. So I went back and became certified. I went through Coach U and then kept going and going. So I'm Master Certified Coach, an MCC. I've been that for many years. I do public speaking, lots of motivational speaking, lots of women's groups still. I've probably written about 20 books at this point when I count and think about them. And I'm writing 2 more right now, one called The Wise Woman Years and the other called Today is a Good Day. Those are going out through Blue Mountain. Then what else am I? I teach at FAU. I'm an adjunct professor teaching all kinds of motivational stuff. I'm trained in emotional intelligence, appreciative inquiry, conversational intelligence, positive intelligence, and more, just lots. So that's like a ridiculous kind of summary. These were actually given to me by my son for some reason. I don't remember that he had one set too many. You're sitting in one of them. Okay. I'm in the other. So this particular one.
Oh, look at we match.
Yeah.
All right. So I want you to put your feet on the ground if you don't mind. And we're going to go ahead and do the chair joy experience very quickly. So take a deep breath in. And I want you to just let all the things that maybe are troublesome or cause anxiety or frustration or overwhelm, or even why today is good and exhilarating and joyful, and just let those all fall to the ground and kind of wiggle your toes and put your palms up, if you will. I want you to take one more deep breath in and let it out. And all those things that we just dropped, pick up the most important item. The most important thing that you're just like, this is so valuable to me. And as you pick up that one item and place it in your hands, I want you to think about a moment of joy around that item. So think about a moment of joy as it pertains to this particular thing. Maybe it's a place or a person or an award or a festival or whatever this is. I want you to just absolutely see it as if it's happening right now. Step into that moment as if it's there. What would you do different if you could stay in this moment just a tiny bit longer? And then I want you to feel this moment through your whole body. Kind of roll your neck from side to side. Take one more deep breath. And just let that moment roll through your whole body. And you can come back whenever you're ready. And may I ask you what your moment of joy was?
It was actually dancing with my son.
Oh, you brought your son up twice. Is it the same son?
Yes.
Oh, your son who got the chairs. Okay. And where were you dancing?
It was at some big party.
Okay.
But he's a really fun dancer. I didn't look for I just looked for a moment.
Okay.
That's all. I could think of 1,000 important moments. That was the one that was just right there.
Huge love for him.
Yeah.
Huge love. And when I asked you to feel it in your body, did you?
Yeah, I was dancing.
But did you feel like maybe some goosebumps or like a warm glow through your body?
Just open, light.
Beautiful. So you can see I fine-tuned that a little bit since we spoke last. So it was kind of a longer process, and now it was like, I think 90 seconds we did that in. So what's your biggest takeaway? I'm just curious. For you and for others.
I think just that in any moment you can shift and just redirect your gaze, redirect your energy, and be in a different kind of space or spaciousness. The book that I'm writing called Today is a Good Day, the subtitle is Best Day Ever Moments. So every day we have best day ever moments. It might be this. We're meeting for 10 minutes and we think that this is like a great, exciting thing that we made this happen. And you begin to add those up and you begin to allow them to fill you and fill your heart, especially during difficult times.
And so the question that I have for the world or for everyone I meet is, I love that you're writing that book, first of all, because it gets us to pay attention to that. The moments that we're talking about are everyday items, dancing once with your son, like so cool. So why is it that sometimes we don't focus on making that a priority as a human race?
Because there's just so much, too much. We're bombarded constantly with negativity, with what's wrong, with what can't be done, with how hard it is, with how insufficient to the task we may feel. All of that. The first thing that comes to mind right now is I wrote a book called Decades of Gratitude, Gusto, Grit, and Grace. And when I am in a tough place, my question to myself is always, how do I show up with all the 4 G's, gratitude, gusto, grit, and grace I can muster? Because those 4 qualities in a challenging time can make all the difference. If you're committed to show up that way, to offer that to others, to not succumb to dismay or despair, but to look for what can I be grateful for in this moment? What can I really be enthusiastic about? Another learning opportunity, but it is very often a learning opportunity. The grit, because we've all developed grit along the way. How do you pull on those resources when you need them? And grace, in both the sense of being graced and being graceful in the moment. So there are two parts to that answer. The first is I've never done it alone. I rely on an enormous support network, a lifetime of friends, a lifetime of relationships that I've created. So the nearest example would be I was diagnosed with breast cancer almost, I guess, a year and a half ago. And my first question to myself was not why me, but how do I want to be? How do I want to go through this? How do I want to show up with gratitude for the life that I've had, for the people that are around me, for the support, with gusto, which is with as much enthusiasm for what am I going to learn, who am I going to become, what is this going to be about? Grit, because I needed a ton of it, and grace, not moaning and bemoaning, but how much grace can I show up with? And I didn't know if it was possible, but my question to myself, okay, you've been a coach for 20-something years. You've walked your talk pretty well. This is the big one. Can you walk your talk? Does it work? When push comes to shove, does it work? Can you make it work in the most difficult of circumstances? And absolutely. But it was never, my ongoing prayer was, thy will be done, show me. I just constantly, what do I need to know now? Who needs to show up in my life now? What do I need to see now? And everything showed up. The perfect doctors, just everything. I could name long lists of things, information, books. Everything I needed showed up as long as I stayed present. I just read somewhere that every illness, every dis-ease starts with stress. And every recovery starts with joy. So it starts with the gratitude, the being able to embrace all the goodness of my life. I've been journaling a lot about every day. Well, I always journal every day. I journal in the morning, what will make today wonderful, that I know about. And then at the end, I always say, and a few surprises. And at night, I go back in and I write what the surprises were. That you and I got to be together, that a friend called and we had a great conversation, that I wound up having a wonderful lunch, whatever it was. So the surprises that showed up along the way. And I track my days that way. So I begin my day with what will make the day wonderful or joyful, fill in whichever word. And at the end of the day, what did make the day joyful? So I'm constantly, I have a finger on the pulse of joy in my own life.
How many years did these journals go back? I'm just curious.
since I'm 10.
Wow.
I had a really tough childhood, and my way, I'm an introvert and I'm a writer, and so my way was always to write it down, to figure it out. If I could get it down on the paper, because it slows your mind down, your mind can race a lot faster than your fingers, and I always journal by hand, then it gives you an opportunity to process, to see what's the really essential question. And so I'll get to a certain point and I'll circle some words from the previous page and I'll go deeper into those words, and then circle some words and go deeper into those words. And I can do that for a very long time until I get to, this is what I need to do now.
So it could
That
be
you're
just about
following your heart, that you've got a gut instinct about this. This is a tiny, huge project, because it lands in each person, in each moment, and the vision of what it could do and how it could shift people's minds and attention. I don't do anything as rapid as the process that you have for the Chair of Joy. But if I spend a half hour with people and just ask them, what brings you joy? What do you love? How much of that is showing up in your life, and what's getting in the way of having more of it? And just let people figure it out for themselves. It's a huge gift. What is it that Mark Twain said? What most of us need is a good listening to.